Hello everyone, this is Pico-ds, DS for DualShock, not for Nintendo DS. This is an implementation of the X input driver for the Raspberry Pi Pico, and it takes every input of an Xbox controller, that is original Xbox, Xbox 360, wired and wireless, via the official Microsoft receiver, and it translates it into what the PS2 and PS1 controller format is. That is the DualShock part. So if we plug it in to the PS2, we see that it now has power. These 5 volts are provided by a linear regulator connected to the rumble voltage. So let's take a look at the screen. So the first thing that we are gonna show, this is an original Xbox controller where the cable has it has a breakout cable, and this port right here is compatible, almost compatible with the Xbox 360 breakout cables. You need to you need to make a small modification here. You need to file the sides a little bit for it to properly fit. So now the original Xbox has a USB port. That USB port, we're gonna plug it in to an micro USB OTG cable. We're gonna restart it, and this LED indicates that an X input device has been connected. This button is just a restart button for the Pico. So if we now see on the screen, and I press buttons, you can see that the X, which corresponds to the A, is present, the same as the square, which corresponds to the X in the Xbox, is present. Now you can see the B, Y, L2, sorry, R2, now L2, the white button, the black button, and the D-pad. Also back and start. However, I am currently only supporting the digital pad emulation, so that means that we do not have L3 and R3. You see that they are not being reported. Also, no joystick, no pressure values. So you can see that we only have a star, but the value stays at 0. But what we do have is a joystick to D-pad emulation. So if I put the left joystick to the left, it deactivated the D-pad to the left. Put it to the right, D-pad right is activated. I press it down, D-pad down is activated, and press it up, D-pad up is activated. So yeah, that is pretty much the functionality that I have right now, but I do want to show that other controllers are supported. So here we have a guitar, an Xbox 360 guitar. I do not have wired Xbox 360 controller, so what I do have is a guitar, but let me show you right here that I am going to unplug the Xbox controller and replug the guitar. It has now detected it, and it shows player 1. The Xbox controller does not have LEDs, and as you can see, well, I press what is basically the A button and it shows right there on the screen: B, Y, X, and L1. L2 is currently pressed because I think the guitar has some accelerometers, and that reports to the L2 button. Also, the D-pad, select and start. The guide button is still not implemented. Okay, now let's plug the wireless receiver. And I'm going to turn on my 360 controller, which does not want to turn on. Okay, there we go. Okay. What is currently missing is the LED on wireless Xbox 360 controllers, but we can see that they are working. Also, D-pad emulation is working, and again, no L3 and R3, just as a digital controller for PS1. Okay, now we're gonna show wired Xbox One controllers. So here again, as you can see, it has now connected, and exactly the same features. Digital reports only, no L3 and R3, and the D-pad is mapped to the joystick. Well, the joystick is mapped to the D-pad. Okay, so this is all that I currently have configured, but I am planning to emulate a DualShock 2 with pressure sensitivity. However, Xbox 360 and Xbox One controllers do not have pressure on all buttons, only on the triggers. But Xbox controllers, original Xbox controllers, do have pressure sensitivity, so that's where it's mostly gonna show up. And well, supposedly I can have two controllers into a single Pico, up to 4 controllers with a wireless receiver, and 4 Xbox One controllers with a USB hub, but we can only have one original Xbox controller because Tiny USB only supports one level USB hub. So that will be all.